Hello fellow readers, I'm Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. You know, spring is coming, the weather's starting to get warmer, some of the snow is melting, and it was Easter last weekend. So, that being said, I want to get into the spring mood and I want to read a bunch of books that have bunnies related to them. So, let's get started. The first book that I read was Rabbits, and this book is kind of like a techno thriller where there's like this underground game that's like alternate reality, and I guess it's based off a podcast that I definitely did not know before reading this book, but that's interesting and I might have to check out that podcast. Honestly, I don't think I could sum up this book into like words well.
I would hardly call myself an expert on this subject.
So I'm going to just read you the summary from the back of the book so that you have some basis of understanding of what this book is about. So it says, Rabbits is a mysterious alternate reality game so vast it uses our global reality as its canvas. Since the game first started in 1959, 10 iterations have appeared and 9 winners have been declared. Their identities are unknown, so is their reward, which is whispered to be NSA or CIA recruitment, vast wealth, immortality, or perhaps even the key to unlocking the secrets of the universe itself. But the deeper you get, the more deadly the game becomes. Players have died in the past, and the body count is rising. And now the 11th round is about to begin. Enter Kay, a rabbits obsessive who has been trying to find a way into the game for years. The path opens when Kay is approached by billionaire Alan Scarpio, the alleged winner of the 6th iteration. Scarpio says that something has gone wrong with the game and that Kay needs to fix it before 11 starts or the whole world will pay the price. 5 days later, Scarpio is declared missing. 2 weeks after that, Kay blows the deadline and 11 begins. And suddenly, the fate of the entire universe is at stake. So, I don't want to discuss it too much and give too much away. I think that recap really gives you a lot of information, and if you're interested in it, you're already interested in it off of that description, and if you're not, that is totally fine. Overall, I thought this book was super interesting, it was unique, and it was a lot of fun. I definitely don't think this book is for everyone. The like techno and like AR kind of changing the world with augmented reality or like alternate reality is necessarily for everyone, but if you are interested in that kind of stuff, I thought this was like great. I would definitely pick it up. This book kind of reminded me of like the Inheritance games, if you liked that, but these are like a lot higher level like puzzles than in the Inheritance games. Or the like techno part of it really reminded me of like Wildcard or Warcross. So if you liked those books, I think you would really like this book. Overall, I gave this one a 3.75. It was like a really close 4. So that is Rabbits. The next book that I read, which was definitely the reason for this whole video, is because I wanted to read this book, was Bunny. I saw someone describe this book as like Heathers meets The Craft meets Frankenstein, and literally I could not come up with a better tagline for this book than that. This book is all about our main character who goes to school and is in the same classes with this group of girls who are called the Bunnies. They're like definitely a clique. They all like act as if they are the collective we. They are like super affectionate to each other and just like very strange, I guess, till our main character actually gets invited to join them, and then she kind of gets herself involved with this clique. Can I just say, this book is definitely something else. Like, it just warps your mind, and you're like, what just happened? Like, it literally feels like a trick.
So I am confusion.
There are even sometimes I was so impressed by the author's ability to write this book, because like I could tell when she was with the bunnies and kind of in this collective mindset. Even just like the writing style, everything like got more muddled and like hard to understand, and you're like, what is happening? But then like she gets pulled out of that at times when she goes to talk to her previous best friend, and like the writing style just becomes more clear, like you're able to understand things, and that just like enhanced the book so much. It definitely made it harder to read because you're like, what just happened? But like I think it really like helped you feel like you were in the feet of our main character. I definitely would not suggest this book to everyone. I don't think a lot of people would enjoy it. I think that looking back at this book after I finished it, I was like, there is no plot. Like nothing happens. If you're looking for action and like something to keep the story driving, I don't think you're gonna get that from this book. You like look back and you're like, okay, like that stuff happened, but like nothing was like really driving the story. However, if you just want like weird and like spooky vibes and you're just here for the vibes, this is a great option. I feel like I definitely need to like read this book again just to like comprehend and like really grasp what I need to from this book. Which I'm definitely not opposed to doing. I don't typically reread books, but like I definitely would just to try to figure out what is happening in this book. Overall, this book is very effed up, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Also, warning for just like animal harm as well. If that's a big trigger and like not something that you're gonna read, don't read this book. The next book that I read was The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane, and if you want a book that's good for both adults and children, I think this is a great option. When I was like looking up different like bunny books to read, this one popped up, and like I remember reading this in like second grade or something, like as a whole class where the teacher was reading to us, and I did not remember anything about the plot, but like I definitely remembered this book cover. So I was like, I guess we'll try it out and see what it was about again. This book is about our main character, who is this like China doll rabbit, and he starts out with this loving family where the little girl just absolutely adores him. He is like her right-hand man. He's never out of sight. He literally like sits at the dinner table with them, and she just loves him. And one day when the family is moving, he gets lost, and then he goes on this whole journey from family to family to family, finding new lives, new families to love, and learning more about the world as a whole. I think this was such a cute and simple book about finding these different families throughout your lifetime. Definitely learning that other things matter rather than just status and vanity, and also just like learning to love. I actually gave this book a 4.0, but I think it would be a great book again to read with your children. It's nice and quick and just has drawings in it, super cute. Would highly suggest. The last book that I read was Our Crooked Hearts. This book is not your Halloween Hallmark witchy movie. It's much better than that. This one is actually an ARC, which is an advanced reader copy that I received from the publisher, Flatiron Books. And so it's not for sale until June 2022, but I would highly suggest picking this book up if you are into witchy vibes. This book is all about how the decisions of a mom impacts her daughter learning about all these things that that her mom had done previously and this world that her mom is in, and then trying to save the day. We have two timelines, one back in the day that follows the mother, who is young and starting to learn about witchcraft. She's finding this kind of misfit coven and things kind of go wrong.
There's like a 30% chance they'll both die.
And then our other timeline is of the daughter. She definitely feels like not loved by her mother. She is just finding out about this witchcraft stuff that her mother has done. Her mother and her aunt have just gone missing, and so she's trying to figure out, like, what is all this stuff that happened previously and how do I help save them? This book, like I mentioned, had very witchy vibes, and I'm not just talking about like there are witches in the story that are present. Like, this is about witchcraft, and it definitely was some of the darker sides of witchcraft as well. Even from the beginning, this book absolutely is gripping you. It starts out with our main character and her boyfriend almost crashing into a naked lady running across the road at like 3 in the morning. So right away you are pulled into the story and you're like, what is going on? Tell me all about it. I feel like there was a little bit of time between like that 10% mark and like the 50% mark where I just thought like some of the stuff could have gone a bit quicker, just like what we were learning about the past and her mother getting introduced into witchcraft. But like once we got through and like we were settled into the world and we had an idea about what was happening, I like flew through this book. It was so gripping and just enticing. So I really thought this was great. I definitely would pick this up, like especially in like autumn and when you want those kind of like creepy witchy vibes. Would highly suggest. I think I gave this one a 4.0. Again, with this book though, there is a little bit of like animal harming. So if that is a big trigger for you, just know that. Well, those were some of the bunny reads that I read for trying to get into spring and appreciating the warmer weather and wildlife that we have back around us. If you liked this video, go ahead and like and subscribe down below and let me know what other books you enjoy reading in the springtime. Until next time, keep reading!